is, as the name says, when you cook it, it looks like spaghetti, except normally you chop it in half and you roast it and then you scrape it out with a fork and you get little short spaghettis, which is good. It's still like spaghetti, but I want the long spaghetti, like the kind that you buy at the store that's in the package, except we want it to be the vegetable. So we have a trick today we're gonna share with you. So you're gonna start with your squash. Doesn't have to be this big, it can be a little one, but I just happen to have a giant squash today. Have you seen one that's bigger before? Make sure you have a sharp knife. Spaghetti squashes are very hard, so you wanna be extra careful when you're cutting to watch out for your fingers. So to get that last bit of the squash that's a little too hard for you to hold down, cut off on one side to make a flat surface for it to sit on. And then sit it on top of that so it's a little bit more stable. That can help if your squash is rolling around a bunch. So now that you've got all your squash rings, you want to remove all the seed particle. So you take your knife and just cut along the inside of the squash. You have all your amazing squash rings. You need to sit them to drain. You're going to need a cookie sheet, so a pan like this, and then a cookie cooling rack. Just put your rack on top of the pan. And you're just gonna take some normal table salt and salt both sides of your spaghetti squash. And this is just gonna help draw out some of the moisture in the squash so your spaghetti strands aren't soaking wet. We want a dry pasta. And just set that on the rack to sit and drain for about 15 to 20 minutes. Now that your squash rings have had a chance to drain some of their natural liquid out of them, you're ready to cook them. So you can even see it drips right off. So just shake them off a bit and then just use a towel to wipe off some of that salt and liquid. On a cookie sheet lined with parchment paper. All right, now they're ready to go into a 400-degree oven for about 30 minutes. Here we go. All right, now that the squash is done, take it out of the oven. Steamy. Look at that, wow. So we are just gonna set these to cool. You can let them cool on here for a while, but eventually you need to transfer them to a wire rack. You want them to get cool enough so you can handle them to remove the skin. Our little rings of spaghetti. All right, now that these are cool enough to handle, we're gonna take the skin off the outside and it should just peel right off like that. And you just wanna loosen up the spaghetti strands, like so. Now that all your strands of spaghetti squash are separated, you can use it as you would any other pasta. Add your favorite sauce, cheese, or just dress simply with a little olive oil and garlic. It's ready to go.